3, 2, 1, go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is 1-1 in this best of 3. Welcome back, Goober Nugget versus El Green. El Green in the green, as usual, playing as the Mayans this game. Goober Nugget playing as the Slavs in the pink.
Yeah, we've already had two great games. Pretty interesting how much the civilization picks have played a role in the first two games. If we saw something similar here, um, we know Mayans, if they can get there, their late game Eagles are unreal. You could also possibly see some plumed archers, just some really tough archers. Um, but what do we expect to see from the Slavs in this game?
Goober Nugget has played Slavs a few games, a few times, and I think pretty typically he kind of has a loose game plan. Um, Generally speaking, go for castles and boyars, the unique unit, which essentially is like a mounted Teutonic knight. It's just a
Yeah.
heavy hitting, lots of armor and HP, slow, knight. Um, and the reason I think that Goob really likes the Civ is the farm bonus they get. I believe farmers work 15% faster um, as a Slavs, so he's going to be leaning heavily into food. We can expect plenty of farms, probably defensive game. That wouldn't surprise me. The Slavs would be good on defense as the other big buff they have that's very unique is their castles actually get buffed. So the Castle Age unique tech that they get is Druzhina or something. I can't remember the name, but it discounts their castles. So you build the first one for 650 stone, and then the next, if you get the upgrade, sequential subsequent, the next castles that you make. Um, what I'm trying to say is this unique tech discounts castles. It basically replaces, I believe, 40% of the stone cost of castles with wood. So that was an extremely long way of saying if you get the tech, after you build the first castle, the next one's only costs something like 390 stone and some odd few hundred wood.
Hmm.
So typically, I mean, Goob doesn't play the Civ very often, but he has a few times. So um, I wonder if we're going to see, pretty defensive game, kind of just play into a early castle and then use that discount maybe in Castle Age to try to get out one, maybe even two offensive castles.
Yeah, and just while we're discussing that, looks like the Scout and the Eagle will go against each other here. The Eagle is a lot stronger in Dark Age, but I think it was kind of hard to tell, but it looked like Pink's Scout had the hill advantage. So even though the Eagle survived, what does he have? Barely any health left. He has 2 health left. So walking by a lion or a villager could end that, but at least for now, Green has that advantage. But going back to the civs, so if Goob does come out with Boyar or a castle push, Green going with Eagles really wouldn't help him too much, um, unless he could get to his Eldorado Eagles, which um, I believe, yeah, Eldorado Eagles have plus 40 hit points, so very tough,
Wow.
very strong, very quick. If he can get to it, he could also go plumed archers, but that would be a mistake against Boyars. So if this game goes like the first two went, and the Civ matchups played a large part in this game, and it looks like Green's the Eagle Scout goes down to a villager. If the civilization picks matter as much this game as they did the first two, I think we would see I think we would see Goober Nugget with an early or with an overall advantage.
Yeah, green doesn't commonly play American civs, but this is one that's pretty tried and true. Like you said, the unique unit, the plumed archer, complements their Eldorado Eagles very, very well. I was just looking at their tech tree. The Hulch Javelineers, Hulche, I don't know how to say that, but I believe that makes skirmishers throw an extra spear. Is that right?
I think that's right. Yep.
So,
Yeah. So could
yeah,
potentially have strong skirms out, but probably wouldn't expect to see those from the Slavs.
yeah, going archers from Slavs is not exactly something that we would expect. Another thing we probably wouldn't expect is Pink kind of taking a minute to click up to feudal age. Green has long since already gotten into feudal at a pretty early feudal actually, with something like 17 or 16 vills. And Pink kind of going for a slow approach here. Gonna put a mining camp down for some gold and a barracks, a very early barracks. So, yeah, not quite sure what we'll see here. That could just be a building so that he could go up to feudal age. But I believe that actually just finished, didn't he? Didn't he already have the? Yeah, he had the mill and the lumber camp, so he didn't need that to go up to feudal. And 5 militia coming out for Pink. Halfway, almost to feudal age.
Yeah, it looks like we're gonna get an early push. That'll be exciting to see.
Green, almost as if he knows what's going on, walling off on the right side of his base in front of his gold, putting down a barracks of his own. Something actually I forgot about. Slavs. Is there a way I can see inherent like team bonuses?
I can't remember how that works in Capture Age, but I have the bonuses pulled up here.
Okay, sweet.
So just his Civ bonuses: farmers work 15% faster, supplies and gamisons are free. That's probably what you were
Right.
looking for.
Yes. Yeah.
And then also siege workshop units are cheaper, and then the monks move faster.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I actually forgot about the siege workshops. That wouldn't surprise me if we saw some kind of scorpions play, as the ballistics now affects scorpions, so that's kind of a much more attractive unit. Militia is going to move up. Man-at-Arms upgrade going to come out from Pink, and a lone villager coming up here to the right from Green.
Odd. Sneaky villager and is gonna get chased down by the lion.
He
Could
does
be a
have
big-
loom. The lion is on the hill. I wonder. Okay, he does go uphill. Looks like he's gonna win that fight.
Wow, risky. Very risky.
So kills the lion, puts a house down, and now this is Longswordsman. We'll take out Green's replacement scout, and Longswordsman walking into Green's base at 14 minutes. This is not something that, honestly, I don't think either of these players are used to.
Yeah, I don't think you see a lot of this at at these players' elo, but I think I mentioned it in one of our earlier videos. But the non-trash units in Feudal Age all have some advantage in one way or another. Obviously, Cav with their speed, archers with their range. The Man-at-Arms counter almost every other Feudal Age unit. The Eagle actually is one of those few exceptions, if I remember right.
That lone eagle will go down, and Green's not necessarily, sorry, Pink isn't really getting kills here, but what he is accomplishing is idle eco. This is already up to 26 whole minutes total, 27 minutes, 10% idle eco from Green. All right, whereas Pink is sitting at a pretty sub 1%. So he's not getting kills, but he is slowing down the resource collected, just getting himself, you know, inches by inches in resource collected. Pink also dropping a watchtower here, so very unusual game here from Pink. More man-at-arms walking up. So Pink now knows where Green's gold is that he's mining at and wants a tower here to keep him off of that gold. Green gonna go back to his wood line. Both players getting sneaky here. So Green has a forward archery range with that lone vill up in the north. Green has enough.
And archers actually cost less for the mines in feudal. So I would expect to see archers right away from Green. Looks like he is producing that. But gotta pay attention at home. Looks like he's pulling up a defensive tower, trying to slow down this push from Goob. And he'll lose a few villagers for it.
Goob's gonna stop the tower. It's a great placement though, still in range of that TC, so Goob might not be able to break it all the way. Yeah, it looks like he's gonna pull out. But Pink's gonna push up with one more watchtower. Just kind of increase the pressure of this situation. Now, Pink is under attack here. He has lost a vill to this Eagle Scout. He's gonna lose a second vill. Green getting great value out of this scout. Just distraction, kill a couple of vills. He can kind of just send him in there to let it wreak havoc and ignore it. So counterattacking, he's making the proper moves here. But 3 men-at-arms still in his base, slowing down eco. It's just an uncomfortable spot for Green. Yep.
The pillager count getting ugly right off the bat.
Pink trying to put a watchtower down. Green's gonna say no.
Yeah, and at this point, I think you have to use the villagers to take these down or finish that original tower.
Green has over 1,000 food in his bank account. He has had, at least he just spent gold, I believe, has had enough to go up to Castle Age, just not having that other building, not having the villagers to get wood for that other building. Honestly, was crucial timing for Pink's, unknowingly crucial timing for Pink's push here, causing interruption in Green's main wood line, stopping him from getting that second building. Because if he was in Castle Age, a simple siege workshop, breaking down those towers with a ram would be a pretty simple solution to that. But unfortunate timing there.
Yeah, you're right, and also keeps him off gold. Looks like he just got enough gold to even be able to go up. Meanwhile, Green villager out in the desert fighting a pink villager will win that, and I guess he's on the way home. So you have the archers being built by Green, but already Goob with a big advantage, and now going to stone.
Goob went to stone early. Now 5 on stone. Going to have plenty to make his first castle by the time he gets up to Castle Age in 2 minutes. Green has 5 archers in this archery range with 3 more on the way. I don't know if... Yeah, Pink hasn't seen this yet. As Pink starts to move forward right into the archery range. Wow. A stroke of luck for Pink. Wow.
What pathing. That's amazing. That, so, unlike passing just some green units, these being buildings, the green markers on his map will stay. So even if he didn't notice it right away, he'll see it whenever he looks down at his map. So looks like Green coming out with archers. This will be this is a big deal. I mean, if you can take out these men-at-arms and possibly even the villagers as well, that'd be a big win for Green, who's already way behind.
Green does have the fletching upgrade for these archers, so if he plays this right on these hills, he's got the range, he's got the damage, he should be able to take out these men-at-arms with no problem. But it does look like Pink's got away for these villagers, and you can only assume that's really what he was focused on. They're gonna come down to the right side here. Pink has enough for a castle, so I'm assuming we can expect some kind of castle drop here to put pressure back on this original spot where Pink was originally with his towers.
Yeah, not sure what Green's doing there. He must have seen the villagers, and in fact, I'm sure he did. They were right there with the men-at-arms, but did not choose to follow him down. Not sure that was smart from Green. Although we did catch up, now both in Castle Age. Not that much of a difference in time. Somehow Green does still have the score advantage, but the castle is going up for Goob.
Unbeknownst to Goob, unbeknownst to Green, he is one cell away from seeing the foundation for this castle, and his Eagle Scout is right above it. Goob's castle is just out of range of being able to be seen.
Wow. Yeah, that's gonna be a problem. Looks like Green's Eagles are being queued to that point, just out of sight of out of range of seeing that castle.
The castle
Getting
will go up
some
and hit these vills, but I think you're about to say these archers. He's got 8 archers with upgrades
Yeah.
in the back of Goob's base, posing a serious problem.
Yeah, getting some value out of those archers. Actually getting quite a bit. As you know, it's difficult to see what's going on in your base when you get attacked at the exact same time as you're attacking someone else. Sometimes those those alarms can go off and you think, oh yeah, I know they're going off because I'm in a battle right here at his base, and you don't even know it's because you have stuff at home. But yeah, Green getting some good value there, but Castle in his base. Can't mine gold. He has a secondary gold outside of his base that he's already got quite a few villagers on, but in a rough spot for Green. And Goob already building Boyar. Green did go up to crossbow.
Yeah, 7 crossbow may only be 7 crossbow, but it is still 7 crossbow. Wow. But that's a serious problem. It really is. And Pink's gonna try to build up some skirms. He's got 1 archery range sitting back here. He's trying to get archer upgrades. He's scrambling really to get rid of these crossbows because they're a serious problem. Goob still has the lead in eco KD, but he's lost 13 vills. Boyar's moving in. Boyar's with attack upgrades and armor. This is going to pose, if not a serious threat to the villagers, a serious distraction for Green.
Yeah, now we're really in a position where if you're Goob, you have a counter unit for what Green has in your base. You can build these skirms. For Green, you just don't have the resources to be able to counter these Boyar. And somehow the Boyar, I'm sure seeing the gold on the map, went out to try to prevent any other gold from being taken. Goes straight for the mine and is able to take these villagers off. Eagle Scout destroyed so quickly by these insanely strong Boyar.
These are just beefy units, plenty of armor, 100 HP, hard to deal with without the appropriate equipment. And even though they're still in his base, Green still has crossbows sitting in Pink's base. So, you know, Pink is able to kind of scramble a little bit, get Vills out, pop him into his town center, get him away from those archers, and looks like he's about to take out these. Yep, looks like he'll take out those. I thought that was the last of them, but looks like Green's got more archers walking in, so he's gonna try to keep pestering Pink, looking for kills with these 2 Boyars. with more in the castle, 3 more in the castle. Green still being a nuisance, really just trying to keep distraction on pink up at his base, and it's working. If you look at the idle TC and idle eco time, they're starting to show much more similar numbers at this point. So in terms of eco difference, eco efficiency at least, Green's strategy is working, but the problem is losing the amount of villagers and being slowed down as early as he did. The vill count at this point, 32 to 15, with a castle in your base. Castle in your face is it's a difficult position for Green to be in.
Yeah, and looks like even with the switch to Spearman, just not gonna have enough, and not gonna have enough in time. I'm sure at this point Green is thinking, okay, well, we're trading. You know, I've killed some villagers, and I know he has as well. But if he could only see the villager count at this point, it's really not even close.
Elite Skirm does come out for pink. He finally techs into that, which will make it to where the crossbowmen are, with even numbers, effectively useless against the skirms. So pink's going to be able to clean up the rest of these units here. Green does have a town center going up in the north, so he's going to try to rotate. He's going to keep making crossbowmen. I mean, these guys are going to walk into pink's base and continue to be a problem. It's just who can be a bigger problem at this point.
Right. And you gotta imagine that Green just doesn't have the resources to do anything. I mean, he had 4 on gold until the Boyar showed up again. That leaves him with, looks like 5 villagers working. That's just not enough to do anything. And 2 spearmen is definitely not enough to handle the Boyar.
Like you said, again, another instance of just a rough matchup with civs leaning into what you do best proved to be a problem. And honestly, Green's effort to put crossbows in the back of pink's base was exactly what he needed to do. But without enough to really cause enough of a problem and no siege to back it up or anything like that, Goob now has skirms enough to overwhelm the archers Green's making, and enough boyars in Green's base to start taking out houses, start pop capping. Although it does not look like that is Green's biggest problem at the moment.
Yeah, and Green looks like he will call it. Wow. What a way to finish up this series. A totally dominant win from Goober Nugget. And really, I think the early pressure, though it didn't seem like much, was enough to not so much even slow Green down as much as it was scouting out his base, putting some towers on the gold, and somehow doing just enough to be able to get that castle dropped in the perfect spot.
Yeah, I would go so far as to say the scouting, the early pressure, spotting the gold there. I honestly think the early pressure didn't do as much as in the long term. Pink randomly walking past that archery range. If Pink had not seen that, he wouldn't have the wherewithal to put an archery range down of his own to start making skirms. He would have had nothing to protect against those archers. He would have been late to the retaliation, and Green would have had I think a much bigger step up in his counterattack, and it would have forced attention to be pulled away from from Pink's forward castle. But that spotting of those units was just so unfortunate. And then the archers seeing the villagers and shooting the man at arms, and then not finding the villagers at the end. There was good execution on both sides, but a couple just really unfortunate situations for green this game.
Yeah, sometimes sometimes that's all you need. Um, some fortunate, as you said, some fortunate things happening in this game. You mentioned walking by that archery range and the archers not following the villagers. Also, the castle being just outside the vision of not
Right.
only
Yeah.
the base from green, but also the eagles that are being queued out right next to the castle. That's yeah. I think that paired with a really solid game plan from Goob was more than enough to win this one and take the best of three.
This was a great series. I mean, you gotta wonder, you gotta wonder how much different that game could have been if not for three cells of shaded area.
Right.
If there were some big ifs that just were just hard strokes of luck there for green, not catching those fills, pink finding the archery range randomly, and just being a few cells of shade away from seeing that castle, and with only three vills there and nothing else, because he did kill the man at arms, nothing else to protect it, could have stopped the castle
Right.
drop, wouldn't have had pressure, already had archers in pink space. I mean,
Right.
it could have gone so much different if not for those few little moments.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. The swing could have been so drastic. I mean, like you said, a few archers to follow the villagers would have easily taken out the man at arms and then the villagers. So you're looking at, not only losing those villagers for Goob, but also not having that push. And if they never even saw the range, I mean, the range is really close to Goob's base.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. But sometimes, one of the best parts about this game is that you really don't know what's going to happen. There's so many variables, and sometimes it can even come down to map generations. Good gold, wood, stone
Yeah. Yeah.
placements. Yeah, but overall, I think with these two players, especially being so evenly matched, you're bound to have some great games when they play.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what might come in the future. This was a great series.
Yeah, absolutely it was.